Welcome back, everyone, again to Northman Reviews. As always, we are deep in the run of the X-Men Onslaught? Slight? It's an Onslaught, stupid ass. Onslaught storyline. It started out in X-Men, that's where it originated, and it built up the tension from there. It revealed that Professor Xavier was Onslaught and was the traitor to the X-Men that Bishop had been warning the X-Men about from, 100 years in the future. He thought that the X-Men were killed by a traitor and that Xavier was the first to die, but it turns out Xavier was the traitor. And we learned about a lot of that and how that went down in this issue of X-Men Onslaught, kind of a one-off thing. So now we're jumping over to Uncanny X-Men number 335 back in August of 96. So now we're in Onslaught Phase 1. And we get this fucking badass cover by Joe Mad, who does some fucking butt ass. Can't talk today, can I? Badass art. From the Onslaught, an apocalypse comes. So you see Apocalypse in the back, and I forget this guy's name. They're gonna tell us inside here, but I think he appeared somewhere else. I don't remember where or how or what his deal is, besides he's a servant of Apocalypse, right? You got stupid Wolverine there. Let's see, what is his name? Ozymandias. His name is Ozymandias. And he does these sculptures. He chisels out of stone. Ooh, look, Independence Day. That was fun. Ooh, Rob, maybe we should watch that. I don't know. But he does these sculptures, and I think he gets visions and then makes these sculptures, so kind of predict the future, and it's kind of ominous and weird. And he was a king once, but it didn't matter until Apocalypse came about. So he says, Master, at long last, you have at long last awakened. You see the Fantastic Four back here, so that's cool. Important, you must read Onslaught X-Men on sale now before you even look at this issue, everyone. So there's Apocalypse, and he has made his first appearance, since when? He was in Age of Apocalypse, but that was a different version of him. He was sleeping. We thought he was going to show up in X-Men and Wolverine number 100, where Wolverine turned into stupid Wolverine. Where the acolytes of Apocalypse, or the servants, were trying to resurrect him. They want to make Wolverine his horseman death, which coincidentally happens later in the storylines. So where's Apocalypse been? I think the last time we saw him before that was in the Executioner's song. And it looked like he might have been killed by, I forget his team of mutants that he commanded. The Marauders? That's Sinister, right? I forget. I'm going to go over that X-Men Executioner song at some point. I got the big thick book. Anyways, Apocalypse is here. He has been reborn. So I love Joe Mad's art and the way he draws Apocalypse here. There's a different artist in a different book coming up in this Onslaught storyline that I'm going to look at briefly at some point. And I'm going to compare the two, and I don't like this other artist's version of drawing Apocalypse. And I love this version with these huge arms, these huge shoulders with his armor or whatever. It's just, Apocalypse should be kind of a more massive figure in my mind. And sometimes people draw him in a weird way where he doesn't look very threatening. But I like how Joe Madureira draws him here. So Labelle, Madureira, Townsend, Bucaletta, and Team Bucaletta, Team Bucce, oh, whatever, who cares? Anyways, Apocalypse, right? And he's woken up. And he's he says, much has transpired since he's slumbered, And he's like, yeah, let's go and like check out things. And he kind of knows what's going on. Xavier has fallen from grace. Where once there were two, Magneto and Professor Xavier, now there is only one. They stand united. They are Onslaught, teetering on the precipice between madness and omnipotence. I thought it said impotence. That would have been funny. And it's like, it's funny that I would spend even a fraction of my long life dedicated to destroying the defenders of the weak, the X-Men, only to learn that left to their own devices, they would do it themselves. And then he says, this can only mean one thing: the Age of Wonders nears its end. And the Age of Wonders, he says, yes, a time when men flew to the stars and fell to the earth as gods, referencing Fantastic Four. When the favored son of immortal Asgard once more walked the earth and embraced immortals, obviously that's Thor, an assemblage of heroes gathered to avenge those unable to defend themselves. Obviously, they're talking about Alpha Flight. Just kidding. So he's like, but now, how do you know it's ending? It's like, because of my old friend here. And there's Uatu the Watcher. He is here to bear silent witness to the end of the Age of Wonders. All he can do is observe as only the fittest survive. So, I mean, that's always been kind of a ominous moment when we all know about Watcher from the What If comic books and even the cartoon on Disney, which I really, really enjoy. Whenever like the Watcher just shows up, he's just there to bear witness to something. He doesn't interfere. So if he's there just to witness, that means like this is a very important event. So we should be very careful. Oh my God, that's creepy. Good movie by Lord of the Rings guy, Peter Jackson. Yeah. Anyways, you got the Avengers, right? They're in their Quinjet. Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch. They come zooming down. That's a cool shot of them coming into the Avengers mansion and sees it like it's all fucked up and half of it's destroyed. So Vision's here and he's doing doing a sensor sweep. Can't find anybody alive. But they have X-Man with him, Nate Gray. We saw in X-Men Onslaught somewhere he had met up with the Avengers and he had been warning them about Xavier. So that's why the Avengers are coming in to help the X-Men. So this was always cool. I never read much Avengers. I mean, I did to a point. There were some issues of Avengers that I had with Captain America and Thor and some Iron Man issues. But we were mostly like X-Men readers, and that's what I was reading at the time. So I know that the Avengers, they're not nearly as popular as they are now, but at the time they were a big deal, and seeing them like the premier superhero group coming down to help the X-Men was really cool. And to see these characters drawn by Joe Mad, I really, really enjoyed at the time. So X-Man is here, and he's like, the X-Men are alive. I can sense them, all of them except Xavier. And he's getting mad that they don't believe him. He's like, we've agreed to investigate your concern, but we've known him for a long time, and we'll have our answers soon enough. But like, then they're being attacked, and they're like, Avengers assemble, we are under attack. So the Quinjet comes crashing down. And in an instant, Quicksilver bounces out, starts running towards the person responsible for the ambush, and it's Gambit right there. And he doesn't look good. I mean, and Quicksilver, he's Magneto's son. Scarlet Witch is his daughter. They've had ties to the X-Men. They showed up as villains in the X-Men comic first. So Gambit's all like fucked up. They don't know what's going on. Like, X-Men are basically, they don't know if the Avengers are there to help them or, you know, they're under the control of Onslaught or something. So they're just being very cautious, especially since they know Magneto's part of Onslaught and Quicksilver is related to Magneto. So they get then the drop on, Bishop gets the drop on Quicksilver here, but then he gets shot by probably Iron Man here. I'm not or Scarlet Witch, one of them. So the Avengers are here. And it's like, if we are needed, the Avengers stand ready to offer assistance. But then Storm, like, brings down lightning. And she says, we've had a difficult time believing with, our friends of late, Avengers. So they're just skeptical. So X-Men are here with Stupid Wolverine. And they're going to have a confrontation with the Avengers if necessary. And X-Man sees Jean Grey out there. And in his comic, he had been hanging out with her clone, Madeline Pryor. And she had been a nice surrogate mother or something to him. I don't know. So he sees her and he's like, Maddie? Like, how is that possible? So he instinctively, let's see. He reaches out with the power of his mind, probing the minds of people who might have been allies. But something's wrong. Something's interfering with his powers. Captain America's there trying to console him. And he's a young dude, and he's just like, I'm the toughest there is. And he's like, Onslaught may be tough, but the X-Man is tougher. So he comes out, is like phasing through the fucking Quinjet, I don't know. And he starts kind of like forcing the memories out of the X-Men here, and it's kind of fucking with them. And what's with Thor's hammer there, Joe Mad? I mean, that is not quite what Thor's hammer looks like. So he brings all their memories together, and it forms this image of Onslaught. And Iron Man's like, I guess that's the bad guy, and the X-Men is they're still being hurt by his psychic, like, it's not an attack, but he's doing whatever to them. They're just going through these like face shots of like, Onslaught is powerful. He's going to destroy the world. We have to stop him without hurting him, blah, blah, blah. And then from the back, X-Man gets hit by an optic blast. And there's Cyclops. And he's like, he's just making it worse. So stop it. I think we can all kind of agree that we're on the same side. And you guys need to know that Onslaught is Professor Xavier. Like, how is that possible? Like, everyone's having a hard time believing it, except X-Man. He's like, I fucking knew it. Like, I've known it from the moment I encountered him. He's evil. And stupid Wolverine comes jumping at him, bouncing off Iron Man. And he's like, here's a way to start up a free and open exchange of ideas. Okay, Tony. So Wolverine's like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, you don't know Xavier. Puts his claws up to him. And like, you have something to do with this mess. So Wolverine's pissed, he's pissed, and Captain America always breaks it up. And I like that these guys, as they're being separated, stupid Wolverine says, later, kid. He's like, count on it, old man. So they're just kind of talking about how, like, Professor Xavier's condition has taken a toll on all of us. They tell them that he's been influenced somehow by Magneto, so Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver's like, fuck, man, are you kidding me? So we cut to Muir Island with Excalibur, and they're being updated with the situation about what Onslaught is. Colossus is with them now. And they're talking about how they need to take down Xavier. And she says it may be time to unseal the Xavier protocols. So it says pick up Excalibur number whatever. So while you're reading X-Men, it's like, hey, stuff is going on over in the Avengers, so maybe you should read the Avengers, right? And then stuff is now happening in Excalibur, so go read Excalibur. And then in comes X-Force with sexy-ass Domino. I like that outfit on her. And let's see. They picked up Phoenix's badly broken up transmission, and they're talking about, there's X-Force, but Cable isn't with them, so it's like, go read Cable. He's like, you're not concerned, Domino? She's like, no, he can take care of himself. So now they're trying to concoct a plan of what they need to do. Oh, wait, I skipped a whole fucking page. 2 pages. Let's backtrack. Xavier protocols. Then it goes to Bishop watching the transmission of Jean Grey and realizing what he saw in the future or whenever has now come to pass, and that he was wrong about Gambit being the traitor. So they kind of like make amends, and he kind of says he's sorry, he owes an apology. He's like, it's fine. So in the X-Men war room or whatever, you got the Avengers and the X-Men all around, and they're just talking about what's going on. Onslaught, Magneto, and Xavier. You got cool shot of X-Men just in the background. That's kind of cool. Just being tough. So they're just kind of arguing about what's going on and needing to decide what to do. That's when Sexy Domino comes in with X-Force. Let's see. So now they need to develop a plan. And this is where like all the teams start splintering off, and this forces you to go read other issues of other comics to kind of keep fully updated on what's going on. Let's see. So some of us will go off in search of Magneto, who is somewhere here on Earth, while others need to warn the Fantastic Four that Xavier or Onslaught has taken an interest in the status of their son. And then Cyclops says, Franklin Richards is not Onslaught's sole target. Jean and I are going off to Muir Island, but Domino, I want you to stay and keep an eye on X-Man here. And then as they're getting ready to leave, Storm talks to Cyclops, and she's worried about Cable. For why Storm is worried about Cable, I don't know. This fucking haircut of hers, I just don't like. The short haircut with these long strands in the front that come like down to the fucking floor. I don't know. But she's like, Cable is a powerful psionic and makes him a potential target. So Storm's going to go check on Cable. So now you got to read what's going to happen in X-Force, where they're hanging out with X-Man, and probably has his comic in there too. And now you got to go read issues of Cable to see what Storm's going to go do to help him, right? And then so you got Wolverine over here, and for whatever reason, Vision comes phasing down, and he's like, "Are you not going to be joining us?" And Wolverine is he has his own hunch that he is going to go check out. And he's like, you need help? He's like, no, but I'm covered. And then, I don't know, Vision is talking about stupid Wolverine and what he's going through and being humans and whatever. So now you got to go read an issue of Wolverine to find out what he's going to do. So then they finally got in contact with Psylocke and Archangel here. Is it Archangel or Angel? I don't know if he's gotten his wings back yet. He might. I can't remember. And they're going to be... let's see. Yeah, they want these two to rendezvous with Cyclops and Jean in Muir Island. So a lot of stuff is going on, right? So much. Like, so many things. Avengers show up to help the X-Men. They have a little bit of a confrontation, and then they get together. They decide what they need to do. They have all these plans, and now all these different groups are going off and doing these different things. So now you see how this is no longer an X-Men story, and it's a Marvel Universe story. So then we go to Dark Beast, Evil Beast here, and Onslaught. And he's just talking and talking and talking because they feel the need to fill up pages with words. And Onslaught, like all of us, tells him to stop. You're like fucking annoying the fuck out of me. And he's like, I know every thought in your head before you know it, before you even think it. So enough noise. And he's bleeding from the ear and from the nose and everything. And I allowed you to join me for 2 reasons. I liked your bravado by trying to hide within the X-Men. But then you said you could provide dark attendants to serve me, and where are they? And it's like, soon, Onslaught, soon. So now you have to go pick up X Factor to find out who's going to be joining Onslaught there. So yes, soon this entire planet will be mine, and an entire race will suffer for the sins of the ignorant and arrogance of a few. And somewhere deep in the heart of this onslaught, Charles Francis Xavier quietly rages against the dying light of a dream. And that's this issue. And then I think Havoc is going to be joining them. These two. Wreaking Havoc. It's the return of one of your favorite mutant superheroes. X-Factor number 125. X-Men called Havoc is back. Yeah, whatever. Oh, and here we go. Ramping up. Because this onslaught is essentially going to end with the beginning of Heroes Reborn by Jim Lee and silly Rob Liefeld. So that's the end of the issue. I mean, it's cool art. It's a cool X-Men storyline, but this is where it gets a little overwhelming with all the issues that you're being forced to read. I do not have all those issues. We are not going to go through all those issues. I only have a couple of issues of Wolverine, stupid Wolverine, sorry, and Cable that we'll be seeing looking through to see some of like the side stories going along. But we're going to stay mainly within the X-Men titles for this onslaught. So sorry, I don't have any of the Avengers or Fantastic Four or anything. So hope you weren't looking forward to that. As always, thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to give this video a like. And I will catch you in the next video.